Last year, the world came together in Paris to reach an agreement to address the climate crisis. It was a historic moment, and it was just the beginning. Join us on our journey around the globe as we learn what it will take to build a healthy, clean energy future, and what more we all can do. We'll hear from the leaders, musicians, experts, and everyday people leading the fight to make climate action a reality. This is 24 hours of reality. We're on the road forward.
There are people all over the world who have committed themselves to becoming messengers and activists in the fight against the climate crisis. These people have been personally trained by Vice President Al Gore and some of the world's leading scientists in order to become climate reality leaders. And in just a moment, we'll tell you how you can join them. But first, let's meet one. Shooka Bidarian now joins us via satellite from Bangkok. Welcome, Shooka. Please tell us, why is the climate crisis so important to you?
The issue of climate change is important to me because I've experienced its impacts firsthand, and I know that this is not just a concern for the future generations, but it is something that is happening to all of us now. I have seen the impacts of climate change on the environment, and I know how intensively difficult it is to have to deal with its consequences.
So several years ago, Thailand was struck with severe flooding. Over 8,000 deaths occurred. Can you take us back to that time and describe what you witnessed?
Well, I was here in 2011 when the Great Flood hit Nonthaburi, where I was living at the time, and I watched the water penetrating my house. I eventually moved to Bangkok and rented a flat, but it was just a matter of time before the flood hit Bangkok as well. And to have to experience the flood was tough enough, but to witness its effect on people's lives and homes afterwards was absolutely devastating. Wherever you'd go, you could smell the stink of the flood, and you could see its marks on the walls and the gates, and often you'd see rubbish brought by the flood on the roads and in the traffic islands.
Now, monsoons are quite common in Thailand. What made you think that these floods were different, that they were linked to climate change?
Well, I started researching, and neither the monsoon rainfall nor the tropical cyclone frequency anomalies alone was sufficient enough to cause the flooding event in 2011. A series of abnormal conditions collectively contributed to the intensity of the flood, including high rainfall in the pre-monsoon season and a record high soil moisture content throughout the year, and elevated sea level height in the Gulf of Thailand.
Now, what I love about your experience is, despite having suffered this hardship, you've turned that into a positive and you became a climate reality leader. Tell us all about that experience.
Well, the flood was an eye-opener, but I got quickly discouraged to take action, perhaps because I wasn't fully prepared for the challenge and I did not know how. And I didn't know or believe at the time that one person could actually make a difference. And this wasn't until 2014 when I was introduced to the Ian Somerhalder Foundation, and I started to do some volunteer work for the ISF here and there. And after the Google Hangout with Ian Somerhalder, I decided to become an official member of the Ian Somerhalder Foundation community crew. An important thing that we believe at ISF is the interconnection between us and the environment, and the realization of how our impacts and how our actions impact the planet. As Ian Somerhalder says, that the environment is in us and not outside of us. And with every choice that we make, we are either voting for or against the kind of world we wish to see. And I chose to vote for a cleaner environment. And through ISF, I got to know climate reality. The climate reality training was probably the most fascinating experience of my life. I got to meet so many incredible environmental activists and listen to their amazing stories. And of course, meeting Mr. Gore and being trained by him was extraordinary. Climate reality has provided me with great resources that are very useful. You know, people ask a lot of questions and not everyone is convinced that climate change is real. So reliable resources and accurate data always come handy when trying to explain to them the concept of climate change. So now I stand stronger than ever, knowing that what I do is the way forward and is what needs to be done, and there's nothing that can stop me.
You're a kindergarten teacher rather. Have you managed to incorporate the climate reality training in your curriculum to your students?
Well, one of my biggest achievements is the Green Project at Kids Kingdom International School in Bangkok. Having learned a lot about climate change and ways to tackle climate crisis, I started working on an action plan for the school with the main focus on CO2 reduction and waste management and youth empowerment. The program's goals are to enrich education by integrating hands-on instruction to empower youth to practically apply knowledge at school, home, and in their communities that reduce ecological impact and encourage sustainable practices. We know that most attitudes are formed early in life, and that is why it is very important for environmental education to begin in early childhood. And we know children certainly grow wiser, healthier and more content when they are more fully connected to the natural environment. And these benefits are long-term and significant to their future well-being and the contributions they will make to the world as adults.
What part of the curriculum are the students most excited about?
Well, they do. It's amazing because, you know, these kids are very young and they take it all in. They're very keen on learning about all these issues that we are dealing with at the moment. And it's quite fascinating that even at that very young age, they completely understand and they want to embrace it and they just want to be a part of solving the solutions.
Now, I realise that, you know, being an activist, standing up for what you believe in isn't always easy. Was there any moment that you thought, you know what, this is too hard, I feel like giving up?
Well, actually, on different occasions, I came very close to giving up. You know, the constant criticism and the negative comments when you're just trying to do what is right and you just not see it going anywhere. But one thing that I have learned from Mr. Gore and has stuck with me ever since the training is his closing remark. He said, "I'm telling you now that this is not going to be easy. So whenever you're being put down or criticized, you hold on to that passion that you have in your heart. You hold on and remember that you are doing the right thing. So it doesn't matter what others think about you or say to you because you are doing the right thing."
Wise words indeed. Thank you, Shooka. And for those of you watching who feel inspired to help educate your own community about the climate crisis, now is your chance. You can sign up right now to become a climate reality leader yourself.
Climate change is our biggest challenge yet. The world's getting warmer, seas are rising, and our weather is getting more and more dangerous. We've got to stop. The good news is that we can. And all across the planet, climate reality leaders are leading the fight. They are inspiring people to stand up and take action when it matters. You can join them. Become a climate reality leader and learn what it means to lead a world-changing movement. You'll train with former Vice President Al Gore and some of the best scientists and influencers out there. You'll learn the latest on climate science and solutions, and learn how to share it with a message that moves audiences to act. You want to make a difference? Now learn how. Become the world changer you know you can be. Become a climate reality leader.